EA Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Tonight, it's on to Week 10 already. Hard to believe, and we've got a good one in store, as it'll be our visitors taking on our home team. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
His counterpart on the other. About set to begin another week of football, and happy to have you along. We are underway on Thursday night prime time. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And leading the charge, we get a look at their 6-year quarterback.
And you've got to think that they've got to be feeling pretty fresh. You know, coming off of the open week, didn't have to play, right? Gives them a chance to rest up a little bit, heal some of those aches and pains, and excited about playing again. That really rekindles things a little bit. I want to see how they come out and establish themselves here early.
And that bye week coming right where they want it, the middle of the schedule.
Defense.
So 5 yards there as one of the big guys up front moved.
And in a 4-3 front, you've got the two defensive tackles right near the football. I know there's a lot of movement around there, but they're always taught to have one eye on the football. Apparently, that didn't happen.
So give him 2 yards there on the completion. And it's second down.
A gain of 2 brings up 2nd and 8.
Looking to throw. Sands. A quick throw knocked away. It's incomplete. When you look at this defense, they were very strong in that victory from a week ago.
And it was the pass rush that really keyed their victory. Got to the quarterback 6 times for sacks and plenty of other turbulence in the pocket for him as well.
And that is incomplete.
One first down here, and that's all, folks. Good work by this defense to hold things in check and force a punting situation.
They bring their punter out there now. As the first drive of the game stalls out, he's on to punt. And a fair catch called for and made at the 12-yard line. So out comes the offense now with a long field ahead of them. And a glance here at their shifty mobile signal caller.
That was a solid performance last week, wasn't it? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran the team well, won the ball game. Bottom line, may not have been earth-shattering, but it didn't need to be.
Calling no gain on the play, and it'll be second down.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10 at the 13-yard line.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
A 2-yard pickup makes it 3rd and 8.
They'll set up a throw. In trouble here, and down he goes. Back at the 8-yard line. The corner blitz gets there as he goes down for a loss of 7.
It always helps for a visiting team to come in and set the tone on defense. In fact, when we talked with them prior to the game, they said they wanted this home crowd to feel like they had to hide their valuables when they were in town.
Well, the home crowd quiet now early. See if their offense can take over and get some points on the board. So a change of possession here on the punt. And they will take over 1st and 10. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. From the 46, here's the 2nd and 8.
It's 2nd and 8.
Off the play fake. Sands. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Peters. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds.
Out of bounds across midfield at the 48.
They'll go to the air here on 3rd and 2. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. Give him 7 yards on the play as they do pick up the 3rd down conversion. On first down, he'll drop to throw. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
Off play action. Sands in trouble, and he's taken down. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down. Partner, we had the game last week where they had 6 sacks, so a little bit more momentum here again in the first quarter.
And last week it appeared that they were coming out of sprinters blocks, chasing the quarterback. So how do they continue that? How do they keep making it happen? Different looks, different disguises, different angles that they chase it.
They were so disruptive last week. We'll see what the trend is here as we go forward. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
That's not the first time they've gone his way on this drive, and they were obviously keyed into him because they were there to help break that pass up.
So they bring out their punter as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. And they won't get a chance to bring this one back. It goes out of bounds back near their own 20. The home team's offense, led by their running back, headed out for the 2nd possession. And we give you a look there at the league leaders in receiving touchdowns. You can see he's 2nd best amongst NFL running backs at this point in the season. They'll start on the ground here on first down. And they'll take it forward for about 5 up to the 28-yard line. This 2nd and 4. He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They want to get that going again.
Absolutely. What they also understand is that from week to week, it's not necessarily the same, but they want it to be. Right? What they saw last week on the ground, they want to see in this game as well.
1st and 10 at the 41-yard line.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
To number 82. It's a gain of 9. Brings up 2nd and a yard.
On 2nd down, they'll run it here. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
1st and 10 at the 46-yard line.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
It's now 2nd and 10.
Back to throw. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30.
That's another first down. 1st and 10.
Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against? And that'll be a free 5 yards for the offense.
Just like a tennis match, that's just an unforced error. Stay alert, don't jump early, and give them free yardage.
Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd.
29-yard line.
They'll set up to throw. And that will be incomplete. Trying to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
3rd down and
We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play. And that's going to make it 4th down. And his kick is indeed good. And that'll make it 3-0 here in the first. So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number one. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
And now this offense comes back out onto the field. And they come into this one off the loss over the weekend. But you say if you're going to play a Thursday night game, this is the week to do it.
It certainly is, because you get right back out there. You don't have time to dwell on things. And look, your game plan is going to be a little more limited, but so is theirs. So that's when you just appeal to your top players. Guys, you make plays in this one, we out-execute them, we can walk away with a win.
First and 10 at the 50-yard line.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Got a man, and he hits him in stride.
First down pass.
So not quite a first down just yet as they come up on second and less than a yard.
It's second and inches.
And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here.
Defense.
A bit of a jump there, CD. He breaks the line, and that'll be 5 yards.
And you've got to stay more disciplined than that, Brandon. That's just a free gift to the offense.
Following the penalty, they'll go back to the run game. And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage.
Second and 10 at the 34-yard line.
They'll bring the tight end in motion right. 3-0 after one on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter, and it's our visitors with the football. Now a 2nd and 10. As they've got it as we resume action. Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
They've had multiple opportunities on offense and still haven't scored any points. Felt like they wanted to loosen things up, throw it downfield, and see if maybe they could get a big play and a quick strike.
And the 14-year trusty veteran able to knock it through. So he's been automatic to this point of the season, and he connects on the field goal there.
And what a luxury it is to have a kicker you can depend upon, partner, because he hasn't missed all year long. Converts on that one as well. And kudos to you. You didn't jinx him.
Nifty move. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. And this offense back out and set to go for their next drive. They're riding a 2-game winning streak into this Thursday nighter. How easy is it when you're on a roll to stay on a roll given the quick turnaround?
Well, you would think it'd be pretty easy because everyone's locked in practice and meetings because everyone feels good about themselves. And for coaches, this is where they have to tell themselves, don't add too much, don't worry about game plans as much as players. So look at your play sheet and think, give it to the guys who play best, and don't worry about the rest of it.
Now he'll take this and run, and he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. They'll wind up with positive yardage. It's a gain of 3, but now it's 3rd down. So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. He'll look to throw. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he's going to be out of bounds right at midfield.
And a first down. First and 10 at the 50-yard line.
And a quick throw here. That's complete. From the 46-yard line, a 2nd down and 6.
4 yards on the pickup. 2nd and 6.
Here's a give up the middle. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. The offense on 3rd down tonight, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. And they'll try and run the option to pick it up. And he'll lose yardage here, back at the 47. This defense not budging, back-to-back carries of just 2 yards. Well, you know, if you've got the defense laying back, maybe that option works. But if you're coming hard on third down,
it doesn't work because you force the hand of the quarterback and the runner too quickly, and most of the time, unsuccessfully.
And this works out well as it'll kick out of bounds at the 11-yard line. And now this offense comes back out onto the field. Coming off every player's friend, the open week from last weekend.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Even if you're coming off of a loss as they did, the open week is exactly what you need.
He rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. But no surprise to see that one, partner. The league's #1 defense coming through with a huge pick-6.
And it's plays like that one that have made them the most feared group to face this year. Offenses, they're trying to figure out how to work around them rather than work through them. Big-time impact playmakers scattered throughout the unit on every level, and they can change a game at a moment's notice.
Extra point attempt to follow here. And it is up. And it's good. That'll make our score 10-3 now.
Team 10, visitors 3.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick-6. And now the kick is away. And a nice return sets them up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. This offense back out and set to go for their next drive. Now remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick-6, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go-around.
Yeah, and sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick-6 and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for it for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone.
And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 12 yards there and a first down.
Results in a first down.
From the gun, he'll hand this off. And he'll get this down to the 48-yard line. Second down and 6 now.
48-yard line. A gain of 4. It's now second and 6.
Back to throw. Sands. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. Third and 3. Movement there on the offensive line, a little quick, and a 5-yard penalty. Now after the false start, they need 8 yards here on third down. Operating from the gun. Sands. And he's going to go down. They sack him back at the 42. Multiple players getting home there for an 8-yard loss. Boy, every time I see speed like that off the edge, Charles, I just don't know how these offensive linemen do it. I would think that they would get called for holding every play, and maybe they should have been called for holding on that one.
Yeah, maybe not just holding, but sometimes you end up setting back in the offensive backfield a little bit farther to try and help you with the edge. That's a penalty as well. Sometimes you overset, they'll come inside of you. That's what speed does. It disrupts an offense. And right now, you've got to pay attention to this edge rusher on every single down.
And now this offense comes back out onto the field. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the #1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in, but I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're #1 in their conference.
Looking to put a drive together. And they'll run on the inside handoff. Unable to corral him. He fights through. Down the left sideline. And he's finally down at the 21-yard line. The 71 yards for him on the ground so far tonight as he has been terrific in his first half. He was over 100 yards a week ago, and he's well on his way once again.
Say it with me, partner. Encore, encore. This guy's headed towards getting it done one more time.
And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19.
Taken down at the 19-yard line.
Second and 8 coming from the 19.
Brings up second and 8.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. So the completion good for 6 yards. And it makes it third down and 2 yards to go.
Makes it third and
Looking to throw. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
What an excellent defensive stand there in the red zone. Nice tight coverage. They certainly recognized how important it was to bring up fourth down here.
They're going to look to throw. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Mike Tomlin takes a shot here, but to no avail. And that will force a turnover on downs. And they've now made 2 trips to the red zone and still looking for their first touchdown.
Not able to punch it in, and if you're on defense, your confidence is sky high. Because mentally, you're saying, hey, you're in the red zone. We're thinking we're giving up 3. We just want to give up 6. In this case, they end up not giving up the touchdown at all. They've got to feel great about what they got done.
2 yards the gain on the keeper, and it's second down.
It's second and 8 at the 15-yard line.
The slot man in motion right. They'll fake it on the jet sweep, and instead a handoff up the middle. And not much there at all. He's up only to about the 16-yard line. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. Now third down and 7. Operating from the gun. Sands. He's got his target. That's complete. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line.
At the 27-yard line.
Our score 10-3 with 2 minutes remaining in quarter number 2. They'll look to throw now on first down. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24.
Back at the 24-yard line.
Second and 13. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Moss. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks.
It's a gain of 8. Makes it third and 5.
They'll look to throw again. He'll try and do this himself. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. Now a timeout called for by the offense. Back to throw now on first down. As they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play.
To number 86. A gain of 2. Brings up
Here's second and 8. And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete. Out of the huddle now for play number 9 on this drive. This is third down and 8. Looking to throw. Sands. And he's going to be brought down here in the backfield. Now a second timeout called for by the defense, as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. And they'll send out their punter now, as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. This is taken at the 18. That'll be a 47-yard punt, officially 5 on the return. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. Now this offense back out and set to go for their next drive. And not an abundance of time remains on the clock, Charles, but you would think more than enough to try to extend this lead before intermission.
And when you're talking about extending the lead, I think you're talking about aiming for the end zone, because there is plenty of time for that. The fallback is to get 3. But in your mind, you put 6 on the board right before the half. That's a heck of a dagger and great momentum to carry into the locker room.
Now a second timeout called for by the defense, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. He'll look to throw. Now he's going to go deep down the left side. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down. And on now is the punter, as he'll come on to kick this one away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And taken right on the 30. It's a 43-yard punt, a return of 5. And that will come the offense as they take over. This offense back to work now late in this first half. With this slim deficit closing in on the end of the first half, we'll see if they can move this at least into field goal range and try to get 3 out of this drive. Now the offense will burn their 3rd and final timeout, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1.
At the 43-yard line.
Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he's able to get this one out closer to midfield across the 45.
1st and 10 at the 47.
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Throw out wide is incomplete. Here's 2nd and 10.
It's 2nd down and 10.
Again, he'll drop to throw. That's to the sideline and incomplete. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Back to throw again. A throw left sideline falls incomplete. The passing game not in sync here early, and now it's 4th down.
It's now 4th down.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. They'll indeed try to run it out as they start on the ground. And defensively, they're just looking to keep him contained as they're able to get him down. So halftime is upon us on past the halfway point of the season and now past the halfway point of this game. We skip halftime and get right back to the action. Set to begin the 3rd quarter. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. This offense ready to go to begin this 3rd quarter. And they've got the lead, CD. What do you expect from them in this 2nd half?
Well, I liked what they were able to do on the ground in the first half because they had a lot of success running the ball, and I certainly think we'll see more of that. But I'd keep an eye on that defense, and I think their coaches up in the box will do the exact same thing. If they start to see 1 or 2 guys start to creep towards the line of scrimmage, that'll be licensed to take some shots downfield.
Down at the 30-yard line. It's a pickup of 3.
Here's a 2nd and 7. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
Brings up 3rd down and 7.
They'll look to throw here. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
And so many times we look at the opening drive of the 3rd quarter as a tone setter, and many coaches do emphasize it. And that's a strong performance there defensively to force incompletion and, more importantly, force a quick punting situation.
A good return there, 17 yards. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the 2nd half. We have not seen much on offense here from either side these last few drives. We've hit a wall, so to speak.
And have hit it hard, haven't we? Because the defenses right now, they seem to be a step ahead, don't they? Beating them to the point of attack, beating them to the punch. These offensive guys are tinkering like crazy. What's it going to take to get back on track?
Yeah, both sides searching for adjustments. 2nd and long. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Throwing into traffic there, and that's complete. And he can only manage to take the football to the 40, and that is well shy of the first down marker.
It's 4th down.
And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. Nice work on the return as he gets about 15 yards back. And now this offense comes back out onto the field. And our game's hit a little bit of a lull here, a little bit of a snag. Punts on back-to-back drives.
And old school coaches don't necessarily mind that. Didn't turn it over, right? Didn't create a big play for the other team. Right now what you're looking for is, can you gain an advantage in field position? And that's what both teams are seeking right now.
Yeah, they'll be seeking to gain that advantage here on this drive. They'll get 2 on the keeper, but it becomes now a 3rd down. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down. They'll look to throw. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. Give him 10 yards on that one, and that earns him a fresh set of downs. On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. He's able to force his way through one man, but he can muster only about a yard on the play. 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and 9.
He'll drop to throw. Now they go screen. It's complete. Give him 6 on the screen, but now it's 3rd down. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here.
Makes it 3rd and 2.
Can't get away, and he's taken down. That time, multiple defenders getting pressure, and it's a loss of 6. Well, they bring their punter out there now, as he'll come on for his 5th kick of the night. Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. Now this offense back out and set to go for their next drive. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11.
At the 19-yard line.
Back to throw. Sands. He finds his man, complete. That's Moss. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Looking to throw. Sands. Under pressure, and down he goes. Dropped for a loss of 7 by multiple defenders.
And this dominant defensive performance continued on that play. This poor quarterback has not received the protection he needs and has had to pick himself up off the turf far too often.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. Returnable here from the 38. That'll be a 41-yard punt, 4 yards there on the return. And they will take over 1st and 10. The home team's offense and their running back getting set for this next possession. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And both of these defenses have been stifling these last few drives offensively. Just not able to get anything going, so what needs to change?
And a lot of the guys will go back and review, so to speak, because everyone has someone assigned to how did each play work. Okay, what did we use that kind of worked for us during this game? Try and get back to some of those plays, as well as the possibility of showing something you haven't shown already in this game and trying to change things up.
We'll see if they take the advice of Mr. Davis.
4 yards on the
2nd and 6.
2nd and 6.
Shut down. Motion. Check. Shift.
Back to throw here. Pressure comes and down he goes. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down.
It's now 3rd
And that's his second sack in this one.
And you just can't ask a defensive end or an edge rusher to play any better than what we're seeing right now. And, partner, it's still just the third quarter. I'm thinking he's not done yet. Even if he's not getting the sacks, he's bringing a lot of pressure to the pocket.
So here's a 3rd and 14. They'll drop to throw. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And it'll be 4th down. So they bring out their punter, as he'll come on to kick for a 6th time tonight. Now this is going to work out well as it's out of bounds near the 13-yard line. And now this offense comes back out onto the field. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to sleepwalk a bit in the first half. Now that their defense has done its job, it's their turn now to go out and try and get some points.
And they're able to swarm him behind the line, and his rough night continues. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down. A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Operating from the gun, Sands. He finds his man, complete. It's Jimenez. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. And they'll try and run the option to pick it up. That is not going to be any help as they dump it behind the line of scrimmage. Not at all what they envisioned on 3rd down, 3 yards in the wrong direction.
I see a shake of the head as he gets up, and you've got to imagine he's thinking, guys, you got to help me out. He's hoping his team can read his thoughts because he definitely needs some assistance.
And taken right at the 35. 4th quarter coming up here on Thursday Night Primetime. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here on EA Sports. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. Their defense got the stop, forced the punt, and now you really start to monitor the clock as they nurse this slim lead. From just across the midfield stripe, here's a 2nd down and 4.
They'll
try and run this one right up the gut. The offense on 3rd down tonight, just a 20% success rate at 2 of 10. This time it's 3rd and 3. Now back to throw. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this 2nd half. Here's 1st and 10. Hands it off out of the gun. And forget that 100-yard rushing game, at least for the moment, as he'll lose yardage here and fall back under the century mark for the game.
And they have just not been able to block him at all throughout this game. Seems like every other play, he's doing something in the backfield. Already got 2 sacks, and now here's a tackle behind the line.
So a step in the wrong direction. Now they'll look to make amends on 2nd and 14. They'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. Nothing on the screen that time. Now it's 3rd down. Tall task ahead of him here, needing a full 15 yards to move the chains. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Hard throw, incomplete.
That was a classic example of trying to run with the ball without securing the catch. He was thinking about those rack yards instead of making the catch first and then taking off.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. And now where will the side judge stop his walk? That's the question. He says it crossed out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. Looking to put a drive together. They go play action here on 1st down. And he's got his man in stride, complete. Calling a gain of 3 on the play. And it's second down.
Second and 7 at the 20-yard line.
Off the play fake. Sands throwing the out route incomplete. That's Peters.
Complete to number 85. He's out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage.
Back to throw. Sands. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. From the 32 now. Here's first and 10.
First and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Here's a handoff out of the gun. And the defense closes quickly there. He'll get maybe a yard to the 33.
A gain of a yard. Brings up second and 9.
And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's first and 10. And not able to break away this time as they're going to stop him right around the line of scrimmage. And we're at the 41, second and 9.
Second and 9.
From the gun, they'll try to run it. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. 1 yard and now no yards. Have him looking up at a third and 9 situation. Looking to throw. Sands. He finds his man, complete. It's Jimenez. And oh, he's just going to be short here, barely. Maybe by a half a foot. It'll be 4th and inches.
Less than a yard.
I thought maybe when he caught it, he'd have a good chance of getting that first down, but that's a nice job of holding him up and preventing him from getting to the sticks.
They'll try and run the option. And the search is going to be too much defensively. He's hit and taken down in the backfield. Mike Tomlin takes a shot here, but to no avail. And it'll be a turnover on downs. And a design QB run in that spot, maybe trying to catch the defense off guard a bit. It didn't work, though.
Again, we're seeing that college influence come into the NFL. Quarterback run game on 4th down. We didn't see that very much in the previous years in the NFL.
No, seeing it more. Saw it there. Did not work out. Turnover on downs. And he'll work this forward for about 3. It's second down.
A gain of 4. It's now second and 6.
Ball on the 40 now. Here's a second down and 6. They'll set up a throw. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. 7 yards there and a first down.
First and 10 at the 47-yard line.
Back, come back. Double up. He's coming, double up.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down.
Incomplete. Brings up second and 10.
Back to throw. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front. This a very important drive, and that incompletion leads to a very important third down here if they're going to try and get the football back.
Yeah, getting it back, absolutely crucial to their chances to try and win this game. I would expect a lot of pressure here. They can't afford to let them continue to get first downs and eat away at the clock.
And that nearly the pick that they needed. He couldn't pull it in, though, and it's 4th down. And they'll send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. No returning this one. It sails out of bounds, and they'll spot it right at the 20. Now this offense back out and set to go for their next drive. Now this game, it has obviously been all about the defense on both sides of the football. Which offense is going to break through here? We'll see if they can do it on this drive. And he can't escape, and down he goes. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up second.
My man, it's been a rough night for that offensive line, and it's only getting rougher. 5 sacks now that they've given up in this contest so far. It feels like the witching hour out here, doesn't it?
Okay, stupid question. What's the witching hour?
Yeah, the witching hour. That's when everything goes haywire late at night.
Operating from the gun, Sands.
His back has been a dependable safety valve all game, so he went back to him when his first read was covered. Just unable to connect, so the play results in no gain.
From the gun on third down, Sands. Oh, he's got a little daylight. Inside the 20. But such a costly interception, nearly a pick six, but now they're so close they are knocking on the door for a touchdown.
And I never want to get on any team for being aggressive because that's part of what their makeup is, and oftentimes it's successful. But in this case, you've got to be selective about it and make sure you take care of the football. That interception almost cost them 6 points. Now their defense has to run onto the field, probably giving the quarterback a few side eyes along the way. They've got to see if they can stop a score.
So first and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. Whistles now in a timeout defensively. So a wise move as they'll use the first of their timeouts to force one more play before the 2-minute warning. Second and goal from the 6 this time. They'll set up to throw. And he goes backwards on this one, losing yardage to the 7. We've got a one-score game with inside of 2 minutes remaining. Now, they'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is third and goal. He'll try and do this himself, and he'll take it into the end zone for a touchdown. Their mobile quarterback with his 16th touchdown of the year. And that interception key as it leads to the touchdown. They were looking to pass the ball there, but they forgot to account for the man with the football.
Yeah, I can hear people right now saying, well, why don't you have a spy in your defense, someone who will dance with him and go where he goes? Well, oftentimes if you utilize a spy, you've taken away someone in coverage as well. And oftentimes, the spy, not as athletic as the guy he's trying to keep up with, so he gets defeated anyway.
And he turns third and goal into a touchdown. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. Out comes this offensive unit as they get set to take over here. So now, Charles, this drive, maybe a touch more important, trying to erase the memory of that interception they had the last time out.
Yeah, and everyone goes through this because even the best in the game, you're going to have games where it just doesn't go right for you, and interceptions result. So, frankly, to me, it's all about how you respond, not just the types of plays that you call, but how you carry yourself, how you show your team that you're still with it, and how you continue to lead.
In trouble, and he's taken down. This crowd turning up the decibel level. It's third and long.
Third and 12.
Operating from the gun, Sands. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. Now another timeout called for by the offense, as he'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down. Back to throw. Sands. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling almost on the spot. That means they have to run extra plays, harder to move it. I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
Result is a first down.
And with the clock ticking under 50 seconds now, he spikes it. Under 50 seconds to play. Here's second and 10. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. Well, they need to score, and score quick. One timeout remaining. Final minute, first and 10. Another try, 2nd and 10 now. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And the offense will burn their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds left to go.
And it's 3rd down.
From the gun on 3rd down, Sands. He'll try to pick it up himself. That is incomplete.
That means it's just one last chance left, and this has to be a 1st down or a touchdown, or this game's over.
The decision made for them. They've got to go. It's 4th down. They'll try and run for it. And he's not even going to come close to picking up the first. They stop him right at the line of scrimmage. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And this 11-play drive is going to lead to nothing on the scoreboard. Now this offense ready to head back out there. And they've got this one in hand. No timeouts remaining defensively, so this one should just be one kneel and then handshakes. Victory very much in sight now as they'll take a knee. So plenty of smiles for the folks here as they head for the exits. It's a victory for their hometown guys. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the 2nd quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.
So for the home team here, the win will move them to 7-2 now on the year. And they'll get a few extra days to get ready for next week. Meanwhile, for our visitors, the turnaround hasn't materialized as they fall to 2-7. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.